All right, kids, it's January, the beginning of the year. Gotta set the tone. 2026 will be big. I mean, the midterms are in a few months. So with the current state of the economy and the price of food still sky high, I got some questions that I've been meaning to ask for a long time.
The question is Raising Cane's overrated or underrated? Come here. If you have to put sauce on every single part of the meal prior to eating it, then at that point, you're just eating sauce. You're not actually eating the food.
Today, we're going to talk about Raising Cane's, how this place can continue to have lines wrapped around this restaurant of people who, by their own admission, are spending their hard-earned dollars at a chicken fingers joint for the sauce is beyond me. And it's not beyond their customers in Columbus, apparently, to make babies in a Raising Cane's lobby. Talk about sauce. My babies are the reason why I've had Raising Cane's so many times the last few years. I'll get to their perspective later. From my point of view, though, I'm paying for mediocre, misshaped chicken. Well, honestly, if all those tenders were uniformly the same, I'd also be weirded out by that too. So, however, I've been paying for boneless chicken that falls off the bone. And because of recent developments on social media, some might think that's a good thing.
So if it... Boy, look here, this is tenderism at its best. I'm trying to tell y'all, you better come to Destination Smokehouse Eatery, Southern California, City B, Marietta. Boy, this is what, it don't get no tender. Look. Ain't gonna hurt nobody to get on down.
Now, last month I brought up that I can't understand why or how so many people love Raising Cane's when mentioning a few prominent conservative women and their cooking, which clearly lacked seasoning. And the comment section went in on something that wasn't even close to the main point of the episode. My audience tends to be leftist progressive types. And don't get me wrong, them, liberals, Democrats, the vote blue no matter who's are all about it too. So let's look into why Raising Cane's is, for example, Snoop Dogg's favorite fast food restaurant. No, not this Snoop Dogg, this one. I mean, it can't simply be about the menu, can it?
It smells like motor oil for some reason, so we're off to a great start, you guys. Let's start with the bread. Beautiful, supremely buttery, tender in the middle, crispy edges around the bitch. They've always done the bread superbly, but I have a feeling they didn't put as much effort into the rest of this.
Pro tip, ask Raising Cane's to fry and butter both sides of the bread.
A crinkle cut fry. And here comes the sadness. Now sure, it's a salted fry, but it's such a low quality potato. It's dry in the middle. There's no crispy. Like you see all that right there? It's a potato noodle. Piece of shit.
Oh, is he standing up to declare tenderism?
Let me pick that up before I get mice.
Nope. He's just picking up the French fry. Moving on.
Coleslaw.
Substitute the coleslaw for another piece of toast.
A Raising Cane's chicken tender, and Father God in heaven, what do we have here? So again, you have 4 things on your menu. Why does my chicken at a chicken restaurant look like a giraffe fetus? You need your ass beat.
He would go on to say that the saving grace of this franchise is the sauce, but Raising Cane's is not a sauce restaurant, it's a chicken establishment. A common complaint about Cane's is that it's bland, the likes of which that I have only seen among MAGA. White meat or dark meat, if you know what I mean. With that said, and for those of you who say that I bring race into everything, you're about to see me bring politics into chicken fingers. Have I been funding a Republican-run restaurant? Are we eating Confederate fried chicken when I get Cane's for my sons? The older one can't get enough of it, and the younger one tolerates it. Guess which one has my personality? Both of them. Better be watching, like, and subscribe. So if you already thought this country was divided, ask someone, anyone, if Raising Cane's is overrated or overhated. Let's get started.
I know how hard it is to start a business. I've lived it. I know what it feels like when people don't believe you. I've made so many mistakes, but I've learned from them, and I can help entrepreneurs along their journey to not make those same mistakes. I love Shark Tank's impact on the community. Growing business people like myself learn things from the show. That's what I really love, is those teachable moments, learning from these amazing business minds about what makes business successful.
That's Todd Graves, co-founder and CEO of Raising Cane's, lending his expertise to young and up-and-coming entrepreneurs on Shark Tank, a show that also gave us Dude Wipes, which, coincidentally, help us with what Raising Cane's gives us. Since its founding on August 28, 1996, Cane's now has over 800 locations, 60,000 plus crew members, more than $24 billion in sales, with restaurants in dozens of countries across the world. When Craig Silvey, childhood friend and business partner of Todd Graves, had to write a business plan for a class, the two of them worked on it together. They must have come up with ideas to save money not using salt, pepper, paprika, garlic, and so on. I'm sure of it. But before I continue, I did want to clear one thing up.
Take me back to college. You had a class where you proposed chicken tenders as a business idea, and you got the lowest grade in the class.
I did. Look, I presented like the Bible on chicken fingers, but the professor gave it the worst grade in the class because he said the plan was good, but the concept will never work. Serving just chicken fingers while other restaurants at the time were adding menu items, said it would never work.
B-. The professor gave them a B-, but hey, that means others in the class got B's or higher. Fine. And real quick, this guy pretended like he didn't know who Todd Graves was, but then suddenly knew about the lowest grade in the class thing.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, how did you become wealthy?
I sell chicken fingers.
You sell chicken fingers?
I do, yeah.
Are you a business owner?
I am. I own Raising Cane's.
You own Raising Cane's?
Yeah, I founded it back in 1996.
So what is your net worth?
North of 20 billion.
North of, you said?
20 billion.
$20 billion?
Yeah.
Anyways, Todd Graves said that he worked odd, tough, grueling jobs in California and Alaska in order to raise and save money to open his very own restaurant. He tells a story about how banks turned his concept down, and I believe him. However, the template was already there. Guthrie's has been a thing since the 60s, and it began in Alabama. And if you don't know what Guthrie's is, yes you do, because I'm certain this looks familiar to you. Todd Graves will admit to stealing yet altering some of their menu items to fit his vision. And if I'm not mistaken, he worked at Guthrie's in college while at Georgia. The co-founder of Zaxby's, Delicious, also worked at that restaurant years prior, which is now a Cane's, by the way. The very first Raising Cane's was opened on the campus of Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It made $30 in profit the first month. It went from that to store grand openings being an event for people who think pepper is spicy.
I wanted to do something crazy like a grand opening, and I just thought it would be fun. I mean, and look at all the people out here.
Got here at 9 o'clock last night, me and my good friends Anthony and Gino.
And you set up a tent?
Yep, we bought a tent from Bass Pro Shop last night.
Brothers were in line too? Embarrassing. Each one of these restaurants, of course, feature the 5 Guthrie's coded food things you know and inexplicably love. In fact, Graves hasn't added anything to the menu since 2007 with lemonade. Becky with the good hair knows that Cane's won't be adding anything else anytime soon. I knew well enough to know that at my favorite restaurants, I order the same thing every time, said Graves.
I mean, I've always believed in doing one thing and do it better than anybody else. If you do what you do well and consistently do it great, your customers will come back. If I added different things, right? Added spicy, I've added these. One, I wouldn't be as quick in the drive-thru, right? Because the choices go down. My quality would go down, my speed would go down, and it wouldn't be our concept.
These days, Raising Cane's is the 3rd largest chicken spot in America behind Popeyes and Chick-fil-A. Talk about MAGA made. Not bad for a restaurant named after a dog. Todd Graves' Labrador Retrievers serve as the mascot for the brand, which also includes a lot of celebrity endorsements. And this is where the MAGA meets the meat. Post Malone, Rob Schneider, the aforementioned Snoop Dogg, and a little bit of pimp juice.
Inside the Matthew Dickey's Club gym in North St. Louis, rows of bright red bikes filled the space, each one paired with a helmet.
I think that's every kid's dream on Christmas, right? That's what you dreamed about, like, right? Waking up, going down there. And I know what it's like to wake up on Christmas and nothing's under the tree. Like no, and that's not hyperbole, that's fact.
Nelly. So Ashanti's husband joined forces with Raising Cane's to give back to the inner city youth? That was supposed to be a gotcha on my part. Speaking of donations, I know Todd Graves has given to Republicans. Look at here, $179,000 to the GOP and $71,000 for the Democrats. Probably funding any politician for the sake of his business. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he voted Republican. Oh, and Well, he was on Fox News not too long ago.
Having a good meal, and something that's familiar to them, it lifts the spirits a little bit, right? It's a little something we can do. And the donation, I'm getting so many people that are like, thank you for doing that. Really, there's no thanks that are needed. This is something that we should be doing, and businesses should help. And this is just something we could help, and I encourage others to do so.
I read that Todd Graves donated $1 million to the American Red Cross while providing meals from his restaurants in July of 2025 after parts of Central Texas faced severe flash flooding, which was responsible for at least 109 deaths. I could argue that this money would have been better served elsewhere, and it's a small part of his net worth. But for the sake of this episode, I got nothing. When Hurricane Katrina hit in August 2005, it almost swept away 21 of his 28 stores, nearly costing him his business. He clawed his way back to reopen as fast as possible, and not that my respect means anything to anybody, and for sure, billionaires shouldn't exist, yet Todd Graves has overcome a lot to get here. And none of this explains why he sells brown paper bag flavored chicken.
A fast food place no one can convince you is good.
I love that I ain't even named the establishment yet, and y'all already know who I'm finna slander because it's mandatory. They know I'm coming. And they finna get this work, because how did y'all get rich selling chicken that tastes like... That's right, it tastes like... Bruh, I went to a Raising Cane's one time. The bread wasn't even good. That is outrageous, bro. That's the only thing y'all had going for y'allself. As a matter of fact, y'all should change y'all slogan. Raising Cane's, where fresh is flavor. That's the only good thing I can say about y'all. The food be fresh and it's fried correctly. Tastes like construction paper. It's bland, okay? And y'all always trying to gas that sauce up like it's something special, bro. Just about every fast food place that sell chicken make the same sauce, bro. It's just a combination of condiments with a little seasoning in it. How y'all gonna season the sauce but not the chicken? That don't make no sense, bro. Y'all ass backwards.
Top comment in that Fredo video is about Panera. They can get some too, paying $13.43 for a meal, and I'm still hungry, but the atmosphere in the restaurant is filled with Nelly's country songs. Him.
I used to like Nelly, but then he went to perform for I don't give a I'm with my family. Ain't nobody gonna hate on us, and I'ma look back.
Okay, so Raising Cane's is not a MAGA establishment. It just tastes like it is, wearing a GOP uniform. And if I were a better content creator, I would conduct interviews at my local Raising Cane's in order to find out what it is about that place that brings all walks alike to the yard without having milkshakes on the menu. But I'm not a man on the street. I am, however, the man of the house. And there's a teen and a tween who lives here. I water these seeds and feed them canes. Let's ask them why Raising Cane's is a go-to move. All right, big brother, what is with you and Raising Cane's?
Man, just like, okay, some people say it's like too soggy or something, and like, I don't have like huge standards, and just the chicken's good, and the sauce is maybe the whole reason I go there anyway.
So you don't go to a chicken establishment for the chicken?
I mean, it's just like, I don't think as much people would like eat there if it wasn't for the sauce anyway.
So if it was a burger joint, but it had the same sauce, would that make a difference?
I mean, no, but actually it's not a bad idea. They should do that.
Who should do that?
It's Cane's, Raising Cane's.
All right, so my video is wondering if Raising Cane's is a MAGA meal.
What does that mean?
Well, good question.
Is that why it's no longer good?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I am asking partly in the video because Raising Cane's is bland and non-seasoned, and that seems to be the way that middle America makes their food. I was just wondering if this is me funding Republicans every time I get Big Brother his Raising Cane's. So if it was a Donald Trump type place, would you still eat there?
No.
Okay.
What? No.
Yeah, because it's not even that good.
It's not worth the risk.
Comfort food, no nonsense, knowing what to expect from a solid meal. Structure, stability. Won't be missing seasoning that would throw you off if spices were absent or missing from time to time. Kind of like a bag of Grippos. If you know, you know. I get it. Even if I ain't getting it. Cane's. For myself. That's all I got. Eat the wealthy. We gonna be all right.